Hey everyone, excited to be back for this week's edition of Frequently Asked Questions for Commercial Real Estate. Tuning in live from my office here in Louisville, Kentucky. I wanted to create this video to share some insights pertaining to methods that you can follow to help attract clientele to you as a broker. So in today's video, we're going to explain the way that I leverage previous experiences to help me win business currently with new clientele. Now, before I end this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you can like and subscribe to this channel. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm and ensures more and more people can hear this message and learn about the many facets of commercial real estate. So now you've done that, go ahead and like and subscribe below. Let's go ahead and dive into this episode. All right, so in today's video, we're going to explain a method that I follow to be able to project my competency in the space, thus being able to attract more and more people to work with me in my business. And that is, I like to create various different content based on my previous experiences in brokerage. And so oftentimes what I'll do is highlight a deal and then kind of explain the different characteristics of the deal, some of the hurdles we had to overcome, and ultimately the result that I was able to achieve for my clients. And so we're going to walk through an example of one that I did recently, and then also maybe jump into another one that was a video example. And then also share at the end of the video a bonus tip to be able to follow along with a method that a friend of mine, Ed Winslow, who we just interviewed on the podcast, CEO One Page Case Study, is able to do as well. So it kind of gives you guys inspiration on ways to present the information from your deals to make sure that you're able to craft a compelling story. So we'll go ahead and make sure that we're able to share my screen. So I'll go ahead and do that. All right. So this is an example of one that I did several weeks ago, about 2 months now, about a shopping center deal I closed here in Louisville, Kentucky. I was representing the owner of a local international grocery store chain, and they wanted to acquire the property as an investment, but over time, they will likely backfill one of the larger spaces if and when one of the larger retailers decides to vacate the premises. And so as part of this deal, what I did was I explained the story. So as you can see through here, I created a compelling narrative regarding what actually happened. So the property was comprised of 110,000 square feet on 12.5 acres located in a heavily trafficked intersection in Louisville. Gave a context to who my clients were. Then I explained some of the challenges that we face. So in the current lending environment, banks have been hesitant to loan. However, my clients were owner-operators, so we were able to alleviate that concern on their part. Throughout negotiations, we pretty much showcased our strength as a borrower and our ability to close because of the fact we were owner-operators and we had the potential to be able to occupy the space. So we were able to negotiate a very favorable purchase price as a result because in the broader marketplace, there weren't many other investors that could really show that they could close the deal. So we were able to negotiate on that behalf. We went through the due diligence process, overcame some of the challenges in the due diligence process, and ultimately were able to close on the property. My clients are extremely happy with the acquisition, and hopefully it's a very positive investment for them long term. But as you can see here, I created a carousel content. So this is basic functionality you can find on Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. There's actually a lot of templates. I use Canva as my base model for content creation, especially digital content creation like this. So I have my virtual assistant come up with this. But again, it's kind of a compelling why hire me as your agent. And then we go through the different, to have some pictures to kind of draw them in, give them an understanding of what you're talking about. I talked about the highlights of the property. So multi-tenant shopping center, over 110,000 square feet, 12.5 acres, great tenant base, significant value add. Then we have more pictures, and then we talk about some of the challenges we faced. And this is all just, the good thing about this, the reason why I like this particular format is because it gives the consumer of that content various different options. They can just sift through this carousel very quickly, and it provides them with different bullet points that they can review. Or if they want to dive into the more comprehensive narrative, then obviously they can read what I had wrote about the deal itself. So it gives you some flexibility. And then we talk about at the end execution and all the things that we did in order to make sure we got the deal to the closing table. And at the end, you have a call to action. You want to make sure that if people find this compelling and if they feel like they align or they feel like you align with being able to serve them, you want to make sure that it makes it as easy as possible to be able to contact you. So always have a call to action at the end of any of the content that you produce in this format. And again, it's been very compelling for me. I've actually gotten business because of this method, where people see and reference the fact that they saw, some of the recent deal I did, and they like the way that I explain this in my content. So that's just one example of a method to follow when it comes to presenting the deal to the general populace. I also thought it would be beneficial to showcase some of the more recent ways that I've been presenting deals that I've closed. So similar type of format, right? We go through the process of showcasing the things that I was able to do. In this case, it's a commercial lease deal that I did for a multi-tenant franchisee tenant that I've been working with. We've done several lease deals for them already, and we're working on a few more right now. But the one that we had locked down was in a very attractive corridor in southern Indiana called 10th Street, especially close to the interstate. There's a lot of new development over there for retail. We talk about the ways that I was able to source the opportunity just through my relationships in the retail space. I call up a few brokers that do a lot of business as well, and we were able to find a space that was yet to be marketed, and we were able to start the negotiation process before it even got started. Obviously, we walked through the process of explaining some of the nuances of the deal, some of the challenges we faced, pertaining to some restrictions on site, and then working through that, and then having to go through additional negotiations as well. But ultimately being able to get the finish line and having a call to action at the end to showcase, what we're able to do. Now, this method is also pretty compelling as well because it's a video format, and I usually have music in the background. I like to have like a kind of lounge type music. It just is a little bit more soothing, and that's just the way I do it. You can choose to do whatever you want, but similar type of presentation where you have the characteristics of the property and some of the highlights of the opportunity that you were presenting, right? The property features similar to the highlights of the property that I had in the other example. And then this is, it continually moves to the next slide as you start progressing through the video. And then you'll see here, as we notice at the end of the video, you'll have a call to action. Get in touch with me. Here's my number, blah, blah, blah. So it's just different ways to be able to present the content that is compelling to different types of people. Some people like to have more of something like this where it's a video. It plays immediately as they walk through the content. And then there's other people that would prefer to have something a little bit more in depth, like I had in the previous example. But there's no right way to do it. All that matters is that whenever you create content or execute on deals, that you consider doing something like this to be able to showcase the fact that you do have experience, that you are competent, and you're able to deliver similar result to your clientele. So those are just some of the examples. I would also encourage you guys to check out, Ed Winslow actually works with Bob Knackle on his website, and he's been able to present what his method is, which is the one-page case study. Similar type of model. Essentially what you're providing is you have a picture. In their case, they do a lot of development, at least Bob does a lot of development. So before and after pictures, you sell this old building that's maybe not its highest and best use, and afterwards it's going to be this massive skyscraper. But similar type of situation, you provide clarity regarding the actual opportunities, some of the highlights of the property, and then you go through the different bullet points as to how you're able to deliver on that promise of you being able to get the property to the finish line. And then they also include a testimonial, which I think is great. If you can get a testimonial from a client to include within your content as well, that's very helpful. But again, these are just different ways that you can present the work that you've done with your clientele to make it extremely compelling. And if you do this over time with multiple different deals that you've done, it can be a very powerful tool in your tool belt to be able to deliver, to be able to showcase why they should hire you instead of the other broker. And so hope you gain some value from this video. I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments. I'd like to hear about your guys' ways of being able to present this type of information to your clientele, and tell me examples of ways that maybe it's worked for you. Along with that, if you guys like this channel, please like and subscribe. It does make a big impact in our ability to reach a broad audience, and we would greatly appreciate the support. Finally, if you guys are in the Louisville metro area and you're looking to buy, sell, or lease commercial property, give me a call. I'm a broker in town. I'd be happy to represent you guys. My number is 502-536-7315, or you can reach me via email at raphael@grisantigroup.com. Thanks again so much for tuning in. We'll see you all next time.